Hello. In this video, we will cover port activation and troubleshooting. Our discussion will include how to order a port at a data center, how to configure the port, and some important technical considerations. Let's get started. You should be a Network Operations Center team member or equivalent and familiar with basic networking. You'll learn how to connect to a Megaport data center, activate services, and learn about troubleshooting ports and VXCs. Please ensure you have reviewed the prerequisite documentation shown here prior to starting. In order to connect to the Megaport network, you'll need a physical connection at one of our Megaport-enabled locations. Ordering a port is as simple as choosing a data center, choosing a speed for the port, and downloading a letter of authorization from the portal. We offer 1 gig, 10 gig, and in some instances, 100 gig connections. A list of Megaport-enabled locations is available at megaport.com/megaport-enabled-locations. Once you've selected a data center and port speed, you're just about ready to order your port. Simply choose the location, diversity, and LACP options, then click Next. As you can see, ordering a port is simple. Before we go further, there are a few technical considerations to keep in mind. You'll need to supply an appropriate SFP. The technical details are available from our technical specifications page at docs.megaport.com/tech-specs. Below is a list of compatible SFPs. Please note that for 1 gig services, Megaport also requires that auto-negotiate be enabled on the port. At many data centers, Megaport supports diversity zones. These are color-coded red and blue for simplicity. Ports located in diversely colored zones are guaranteed to be on diverse hardware. If redundancy is a requirement for your services, you want to ensure that your ports are located in diverse zones. Port diversity improves the robustness of your network by providing port services on different physical devices at a single Megaport location. Ports are assigned to diversity zones. A diversity zone groups devices at the same location to ensure that services are provisioned on physically separate devices that always remain diverse. Assigning ports to diversity zone reduces the risk of interruption due to an impacting event on a single device. For example, during scheduled maintenance, no more than one diversity zone at a given data center will experience downtime at any moment. If a port in a diversity zone experiences scheduled downtime, ports in the other zone at the same location are not affected by that same scheduled maintenance. Ports deployed at locations supporting diversity are zoned into one of two groups, red or blue. In the Megaport portal, ports on the services page indicates their assignment in a diversity zone with either a red or blue icon. Please see docs.megaport.com/connections/port-diversity for additional information. Megaport supports link aggregation groups, or LACP, at all data centers. When you order a new port that is 10 gigabits per second or higher, you can order it as part of an existing lag, or you can create it independently. A lag bundles physical ports to create a single data path, where the traffic load is distributed among the ports to increase overall connection reliability. This feature provides aggregate bandwidth, enhanced resiliency, and efficient use of resources. Other terms used to describe a lag port include port trunking, link bundling, and channel bonding. When you order a new port that is 10 gigabits per second or higher, enabling the Link Aggregation Control Protocol, LACP, allows you to use it in a lag. We recommend that you enable LACP even if you only require a single port at the time. This prevents service interruption if later you decide to enable LACP on the port. You can combine up to 8 physical ports into a single lag, and the port price will update dynamically based on any additional ports. All ports within the lag use the same Layer 2 MAC address. For details on how to create a port, see Creating a Port. Multiple ports and a lag configuration with multiple physical cross-connects reduce potential single points of failure that will stop the network from working if they go down. Please note that VXCs attached to lag ports will not come up if LACP is not enabled and configured on the customer side. If LACP was selected upon ordering in error, please contact our support team to have it disabled. please see docs.megaport.com/connections/lag for more information. You can investigate the potential latency on a port before ordering it with Megaport's latency tool, located at megaport.com/network-latency. Here, you can view expected latency values between any two data centers on the Megaport network. When you're done with your selections, confirm your settings and add a new port. Once you have ordered a port, you'll need to download and submit a letter of authorization, or LOA, to your data center. The LOA is created automatically for your service. The LOA provides the data center the authorization they need in order to run a cross-connect from your equipment to ours. Activating a port is typically very straightforward. However, there are a few items that you should be aware of. Before we review the troubleshooting steps, please take a moment to watch this. It gives you a highlight overview of how your services connect into Megaport. This is a Megaport-enabled data center. There are hundreds of locations just like it around the globe. Megaport already has equipment installed here. Typically, Megaport will have one or more switches pre-patched to a patch panel in a meet-me room. Usually, the customer will also have equipment installed at the data center. Once you have ordered a port on the Megaport portal, you'll need to submit the letter of authorization that we provide to the data center along with a cross-connection request. The data center will then connect the customer equipment to the patch panel. This is known as the demarcation point, or DMARC for short. It's important to understand that most data centers will only work on resources that you own. The blue cross-connect shown here is owned by the customer, and Megaport does not control it or have access to it. In the event that there is a problem with the cross-connect, Megaport is happy to assist, but it is the customer's responsibility to troubleshoot this portion of the circuit. Once your cross-connection is complete, you're ready to configure services. Now that you've established a physical port on the Megaport network, you can add virtual connections to cloud service providers or any other port on the global Megaport network. Establishing a physical port onto the Megaport network is the first step. Once that has been completed, customers can then add virtual cross-connections, VXCs, to their physical ports. Services are ordered and configured via a partner portal or directly on the Megaport portal. Troubleshooting port activation. Generally speaking, once the data center runs the cross-connect as directed, your port should go live. However, there are a few common issues that can prevent that. The first of these is wrong polarity. If your port is enabled but you are not receiving light, please have the data center try rolling the fiber of the cross-connect to see if that resolves the issue and brings up the port. Auto negotiation. As indicated previously, for 1 gig services, Megaport requires that customers enable auto negotiation in their configuration. Not doing so will prevent the port from coming up. Note: to enable the auto negotiation protocol to configure the speed, duplex, and automatic flow control of the gigabit Ethernet interface, use the negotiate command in interface configuration mode. To disable automatic negotiation, use the no negotiate auto command. SFP issue. The customer must provide a compatible SFP for the port on their equipment. Failure to do so will likely prevent the port from coming up. SFP specifications are available on our website at docs.megaport.com/tech-specs. As discussed previously, the following SFPs are appropriate. You can read more information at docs.megaport.com. Megaport keeps track of which ports are available and which are occupied by customers, but occasionally a data center may report that the port you've ordered is already occupied. If this is the case, please reach out to Megaport support. Please be prepared to provide the service ID of the port, the cross-connect order number, and any other information provided to you by the data center. Occasionally, a port will not come up in spite of a proper cross-connect having been run. In these situations, Megaport is happy to assist. Please reach out to Megaport support and be prepared to provide the service ID of the port, the cross-connect order number, cable ID, and the completion notice provided by the data center at the time of the cross-connect. Furthermore, please ensure that your port is enabled and transmitting good light. If this is a lag port, please be sure to enable LACP. Otherwise, LACP should be disabled. We are now going to review port troubleshooting in more detail. It is important to understand how your ports connect to Megaport, how to check your port status, and other key troubleshooting steps. Generally, if your port goes down or your VXC starts flapping, the root cause can be attributed to an issue with the physical connections, the device, or power. However, before troubleshooting, it can be useful to check for maintenance works, service outages, or planned outages. Once the big three are ruled out from your side, confirm if you have received any information from Megaport that would attribute to the symptoms you are experiencing. If none of the above appear to be the root cause, customers can check the Megaport portal to initiate troubleshooting. I'm going to cover service IDs and how to view basic information about your services, such as service logs and bandwidth graphs. Once you've logged into the Megaport portal, click on the Services tab. Here, all your services will be displayed. Next to each service, you'll see an 8-character alphanumeric code next to the name of the service. This is the service ID. It's a unique identifier assigned to each service, and if you ever need to speak to our support team about your service, this is the single most important bit of information we need in order to help you. Clicking on the name of the service brings up the connection details. From here, you can click on the Details icon to view a brief summary of your service. Here you can see the service ID again and useful information about it. The type of information depends on the type of service. The service displayed here is a port, so we can see relevant details specific to this service. Next, click on Logs to view the service logs. Here you can view up-down events and other provisioning data. Finally, you can click on the usage icon to view the traffic graphs. Here you can adjust the date range, time zone, and so on. It's worth mentioning you will see different information here depending on the service you're looking at. If you're looking at a Megaport, the traffic graph displays all the traffic from all the VXCs connected to it. You can also view a graph for errors and optical levels. If you want to see only the traffic from a specific VXC, you should view just the VXC rather than the port it is connected to. Once you have performed your portal checks, it is time to check for any errors, packet drops, or problems with the physical connections on your side. Please follow these steps. If you are unable to isolate the root cause, ensure you provide Megaport with all your troubleshooting steps and the additional information listed here. A link has been provided to the troubleshooting guide for future reference. In summary, always remember to include the name of the company associated with the service and the service ID when lodging a support request. The troubleshooting guides provide more detailed information on each of the troubleshooting steps and outline the reasons why this information is beneficial to the troubleshooting process. These troubleshooting steps are designed to assist in isolating the root cause of the issue. The more information that you can provide when lodging a support request with Megaport, the quicker it will be to resolve the issue. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. After reviewing this video, if you have unresolved issues with your port activation, please feel free to reach out to our customer support team. I'll see you next time.
The voice of Megaport.